everyone, welcome back to our channel. It's Gemma here today with the Sims 4 speed build. Yes, that's right, I have now got Sims 4. Whoop whoop. Looking forward to get to work in the next couple of days. Today's build is a sunken garden using the new basement feature which came out in the patch a few days ago. It's quite easy to do. You have a special basement tool and you have to go down a level and then draw it in, then click on the walls, then go up a level and click on the yellow border that appears, and you have the option then to remove the roof. So that is how I got sort of the sunken garden shape rather than a basement with a roof. I decided to go for these nice brick stairs as I thought they looked quite sort of rustic and more like what you'd have in the garden rather than some wooden steps which would rot after a while. And then I put in a brick wall texture as well because I thought that would be suitable, as you'd need some sort of reinforcement if it's a basement or like a sunken area. Then I wanted to put a fountain in the middle, and for some reason it wouldn't let me. I presume it is because I'm on a basement level. So I thought, oh, I know, I should put a swimming pool in instead and make that be my fountain, which works quite well, except it obviously is quite deep, but I get round that later on by putting some lily pads over it, so it does just look like a fountain. Put some lights in so it'll be nice in the evening. I must say I'm an absolute noob at building. This is only my second build that I've done on The Sims 4, and I'm really struggling with the new way you use the camera and the rotating. It's fine if you haven't got anything on the tool, you can use the full stop and the comma keys to rotate, but if you've got something like you're holding it with the tool, you can't do that, so you then have to right click with the mouse and try and spin it, and I just can't do it very well, so I apologise if that looks really silly and slow to you. I've actually sped this up quite a lot, and it's still not very fast because I am such a noob with the building. So yeah, I put my fountain in, and then I was looking through for some plants, and I found this nice fountain. I thought, oh yeah, I'll put that in the middle, so I got that out and just laid it there till I was ready. I then did these little alcove bits, they're only 1 square wide, to put some plants in, and I put 2 of those on each wall all the way around because, as you know, I have to have everything symmetrical and matching. So I carry that theme on here. I then went through the catalogue and picked out a few plants that I thought I might like to use in those alcoves, and then carried on making them. I don't know why I jump about so much when I build, but I do. Got to the stairs area and thought, oh no, here is a problem. I can't make it matchy-matchy. So I stuck it in there and then thought, no, I don't like that. I'll move the stairs over into the middle. I was having right trouble doing that, as once you click on the move tool, it's quite difficult to get out of it. I don't know if I'm just being a bit thick and can't do it. But yeah, I kept picking up the stairs and picking up the room, and then it was just a nightmare. Sorted it out eventually. Then I couldn't remove this column. I don't know why. Tried the sledgehammer tool, that wasn't working. Tried the remove the walls tool, that wasn't working. So I had to go back and undo all of that, then move the stairs, and then put in this little alcove again. So that was a bit annoying, but we get there in the end. So then I had to go around and remove the inner wall bit to make it a gap, which was a little bit tricky with that tiny space. And then, do I put the wall texture in? No, I'm deciding on what pots to do next. I liked all of these options actually, so I decided to put 2 of these tall thin plants in on opposite sides, and then I put one of the cube ones in the other 2 sides in those gaps. I really like how this looks actually. I think it's a nice little bit of added detail. Then put the wall texture on the outside just so it looks a bit nicer when you're playing, as a little finishing touch. Then carried on placing my plants. Quite happy with how that looks. Then I decided that some little lights would be nice in those alcoves for the night time. I was going to go for some sort of fancy looking wall lights, but then I decided on these ones, which I think are the same as the pool ones. I like them because they look really modern, because that was kind of the look I was going for here. I wanted it to be very modern, with quite sort of clean lines. Then put the move objects cheat on, so I could get the lights going down the stairs lined up nicely, because I couldn't do that without the cheat. Then came back to my swimming pool pond fountain thing. I was trying to put a little island into the middle of it, and I could not do that. It does not allow you to. So I had to get rid of the pool and then start again, which was a little bit irritating, but that's how it goes. So I had to leave the space in the middle and put the swimming pool all the way around that space. Just checking the fountain fits. I quite liked how it was. You probably could leave it like that actually, but I decided to put in some diagonal pieces just to give it a bit more of an intricate shape, which I think works well, but it does take up quite a bit of space. So if you do end up downloading this into your game, feel free to change it back to just a square if you prefer. So I did all that, lovely job, then realised it wasn't central. Luckily, one of the features on the Sims 4 building is that you can pick up a whole item and move it, which is really, really handy, which you'll see in a moment after I've put these lights in. It's such a handy feature. You can pick up swimming pools, I assume fountains as well, I haven't actually tried that yet, and you can pick up the whole room or the whole house. So if you're like me and particular about everything being central and symmetrical and everything, you can move it afterwards and get it into the position that you want. So next I was going to put sort of an arched feature over the pond, but didn't really like it in the end. It sort of cluttered up the space, and I thought, oh, I know, I'll use those columns as a little bit more detail in the alcoves, which I really, really like. Just makes it look a little bit more fancy and sort of ties in quite well with the traditional fountain. Then put this, it's a low fence. It's one of those things that is a bit out of scale in my opinion. There's a few things in Sims 4 that are a bit out of scale. Some of the end tables are absolutely massive. Some of the lamps are really big, and I think this fence is another thing that's a little bit sort of out of scale. But the more I looked at it and the more I got used to it, the more I sort of liked it, so it does stay. And then I was using the move objects cheat to try and get some pots on top of that little fence. And the way I'm doing that is you can press the 9 key and it will go up in small increments up to the level you need it to. If you go too high, then you can press the 0 and it adjusts it downwards. And you can use this for pictures and lights as well. But it's very handy if you're trying to put an object on another object, and it wouldn't ordinarily allow you to do that. I spent quite a while trying to choose what pots to go for. Quite a few of them look nice, but I decided on this sort of urn, fancy urn shape flowers, and put one of those on each of the stumps. And then I changed the colour of some of them just for a little bit of variety, because sometimes you can be too matchy. That big hedge was just sitting there because I thought I might use it at some point, but I do get rid of that in the end because it takes up too much space once you've got the fountain in. So next up, putting in a little seating area. I was so tempted to put one on the opposite wall so it matched, but I did manage to resist doing that, and I think it looks better for it. So a nice little bench here, just getting it to match in with the columns. And then put some little plants beside it. I was trying to get this big bush to fit in, but it was just taking up way too much space. Then I was playing about with trying to put something in the corners here, and was going to go with a plant, but I'd seen on someone else's video you can get like a pedestal to put statues on, so I spent quite a few minutes trying to locate where that was in the catalogue. In the meantime, pulling out a couple of statues that I thought would be good. Finally found the pedestal, which matches in really nicely, and I think really adds to the formal garden look. So I put one of those in each corner, but there's not a lot of statues to choose from, that fit on there well and that are just stone. So I did go for this gnome to begin with, but I found him a little bit creepy, so I decided on the rabbit. Then I found a different gnome that I put on this pedestal. I thought, it's a garden, you've got to have a gnome in there really, particularly on a Sims game. And then I get that pig out of the catalogue as well, and I do decide to keep that, so that does end up going on the pedestal in a moment. But whilst I was looking, I found these nice fish fountains, so I thought I'd add those in. Possibly might be a little bit of overkill, I'm not sure. I like it, but it might have been better without them. So again, if you're not keen on those, feel free to remove them if you download this. Just recolouring the statue, so they've got that more, I think it is meant to be white, but in the light, certain lights, it's sort of a more of a golden colour. I decided to put a barbecue in next to the stairs because there was a little space there that was sort of redundant, and I think it just makes your garden a little bit more usable to have that in there. Then put in some little planters, and I was going to leave those sort of to plant fruit and veg in, but I thought the size of the garden, that wouldn't really, I don't know, it didn't really fit right. I thought it needed a few more plants really, like established plants. So I went for these trees to begin with, which I do like, but I felt they were a little bit too big really. So I decided on these palms, which I think look really nice. Originally I was going to put 3 in, but when I get over to the other side I decided to put a different one in the middle, and I liked that a bit more. So that other palm tree does get deleted. Did go for this one to begin with, but it is ridiculously big. So that went pretty sharpish. This one is a perfect size really for the space, and I think it just adds a little bit more interest than having 3 of the same. And then put some little plants in the bottom. I was going to go with these grasses to begin with, but they didn't really sort of fit right. So I put some lavender in. I think the purple and the green go really nicely together, and I do love lavender anyway in real life. I was going to put these grasses, but they were too big, so I've put hydrangeas in. And I quite like how they look. Changed them to white just for a bit of a cleaner, fresher look. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's coming together so far. You could use this as is, or you could attach it to a build you've already done. So if you've already got a basement space in your build, you could just tack this onto the side and add a door in somewhere. Maybe where the bench is, you could move that to a slightly different place and put a doorway in, so you'd have access from your basement, which I think would be really, really cool. Put this bird bath in, because I thought that would be really sweet to have in as well, and I put some baskets on the wall just to add a little bit more greenery, as it is a garden, and there is quite a lot of sort of hard textures. I then used the move objects cheat to place the, I think these are pansies or daisies, in there as well, just to give a little bit more colour, which I think works really well actually. It's fun to experiment with the move objects cheat. Okay, here's where I put the lily pads in to disguise the depth of the swimming pool. And again, that has some additional foliage, which I think is needed just to soften the space. I really wanted to get these little, what look like strawberry planters in, but was struggling to find a spot for them. So we're going into night mode again, just to add a couple more lights. I really love how it's lit so far, but I just wanted a couple more lights where the bench is for if you were sitting out there in the evening. I was going to put them all the way around, but I think it was a bit too much. It got a bit too bright. You sort of lost the atmosphere. So I just kept with the 2 there by the seating area. And that's it. These are the screenshots. You've got one of the daytime. You can see the stairs down. Nighttime showing you the seating area. And there is a view from above to see the layout. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.